got to deal with none of this shit. I ain't got to deal with none of this shit. You ain't nothing but a habitual line-stepping, Jedi mind-tricking motherfucker, and I ain't got to deal with it.
You gonna deal with it?
You know why? Do you know why? Blockchain. That's right, motherfucker. Blockchain. You remember Thursday, Tony? That trick I used to see on Tuesdays who lost his house investing in some bootleg Bitcoin? Well, that nigga, his play got me researching this shit. And you know, cryptocurrency a bubble, everybody know that. But blockchain? Oh, that shit the future.
After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe.
My two Satoshis, I am your host, Chris. Welcome back to the show. Well, this is my second time trying to do this video, and I had to redo it because I had a little bit too much fire in the first video. And I knew that people from the Cardano community was not going to be able to digest what I was saying. But I am very disappointed in not the developers, but the overall marketing and messaging that Cardano focuses on. And I do believe that Cardano is going to be irrelevant until we get into the bear market again. Meaning that if you're looking for Cardano to go to $4, $5, I think you're fooling yourself. It does not matter how much Bitcoin pumps. Maybe a 2x from here for Cardano is about the most I could say. And you know, that could be pretty much good for some people, but I'm getting concerned. There is no real community engagement. I'm over on Twitter. I'm paying attention to what people are saying in the overall market. Most of the influencers who talk about Cardano are node operators. So you don't really get a good feel for what's really going on. I mean, like really going on on the chain, in the community. But you just kind of like seems like most of the influencers who are marketing are just marketing to bring people in, but then they're turning around and they're dumping on the community. You would have to go look at the wallets and just kind of pay attention to how that node operator finances themselves. Let's just say it's not good. I'm really concerned, and I like the chain. I have been here before all of these projects launched. Before it was all of these different dApps, I was here. If you go back on my channel, you can see I was covering Cardano, a year and a half ago. And I just kind of became discouraged, like many people who are in the community. I think that if most people started speaking out, voice your concerns down in the comment section so that the influencers can see how you feel, because there is no voice for the community, for the common person, for the small fry. There's a lot of whales that play games, but I'm just concerned that Cardano is going to become irrelevant. I know you guys are focused on the tech. You're talking about globally, decentralization, you're looking at TVL, you're looking at a lot of different metrics that most people care absolutely nothing about. And that's just the honest truth. The only thing that I see any really promise in is probably Fluid Token. It's one of the few teams, or only teams, that are embracing the other communities and trying to really put eyeballs on their team and on Cardano as a whole. Fluid Token, for those who are not familiar with, they are opening up an Ordinals and Runes swap lending platform. I think they have a lot more work to do. I'm not following them in Discord, but from what I can see, it is one of the few teams that are actually shipping and that are reaching out and going multi-chain. There are a lot of dApps over here on Cardano that needs to go multi-chain to attract real TVL and some sticky TVL, I should say, like that, total value locked, for those who don't know. You need to go cross-chain. I understand that you're on the UTXO model, so if you need to reach out to Merlin Chain or something like with Bitcoin or some of the other L2s, I would definitely say you're going to want to go that way or either fall into obscurity, because we only have about another year, maybe a little bit over a year before what we saw happen in 2021 to happen in 2025, which is a lot of hype and speculation on the price going to 400,000 on Bitcoin. You know, we hear some crazy numbers, but if you honestly believe that, then you're not really paying attention to what is going on. So if you see the 700,000, 400,000 Bitcoin price prediction, just pretty much know that, just kind of know who you're listening to and what you're watching. Okay. So you have pretty much another year for Cardano to do something. One thing about Cosmos and the reason why it was able to attract so many eyeballs is because people knew that if you staked Cosmos, projects coming into the chain would airdrop or distribute tokens to the stakers. And as much as Cardano talks about their staking, there is no benefit outside of the little measly yield that you get. There is no extra incentives. And I was really shocked that all of these platforms are launching and they created some type of mechanism that their token generation events didn't focus on the people who had been staking on Cardano for years. Those are the people that should have been rewarded. And I don't mean they needed to do this and do that and tweet this. Just distribute the tokens to the people who've been here. But hey, that's just my 2 Satoshis on that. The influencers are pretty much just towing the company line. And whenever I see missteps in the Cardano community, no one is holding anyone to task. They just kind of say, hey, everything is okay. Don't worry about this. And meanwhile, I'm looking at their comment sections and I'm seeing the smaller individuals and the community people voice their concerns and they get shouted down by the maxis. You look at the narratives on Ethereum with Eigenlayer and the restaking and all that stuff. And even though there's a lot of risk there, a lot of people are willing to take that risk for the reward. You look at Solana and the meme coins and how much fun Ansem and all those guys are having. You don't have that. You have nothing as far as marketing besides talking about metrics that people really don't care about. Now, this is probably going to come off, some people are going to call this FUD and say I'm being wrong and I'm being mean. But trust me when I say the other video that I did was a lot worse. So I toned it down in this one because I want people who are in positions of marketing and influencing to really start getting on the ball. It's boring over here. And when I say boring, I don't mean that it needs to be rugs and stuff like that going on. I mean, you have to realize when the smart contracts came out and all the eyeballs were on Cardano and everyone was focused to see if they got it right, they dropped the ball massively. And people turned away and started going and focusing elsewhere. You can see it in not just the price action, you can see it in the TVL, you can see how Cardano is falling, you can see how they're getting flipped. And I do believe they're going to fall out of the top 10 before this bull run is over. And then when we go back into the bear market, while there are a lot of dApps over here, unless there's one or two dApps that are just people are so excited about, most people are just not going to come over here. But when you really look at the NFT market, to be honest with you, nothing stuck. You have some that's still there, but it's really, really pathetic. Pavia hasn't shipped. Cornucopia hasn't shipped. One thing I've seen a lot with NFTs in these games or metaverses, they will sell you their NFTs. They will do a lot of promises and they'll tell you that they're working in the background. And then when fees are not generated and they're not really making any money, they'll just shut down the project. And then you're stuck with a bunch of NFTs that are worthless. And I definitely see that happening with a lot of the NFTs that are over on Cardano. Just go look at the numbers, go look at the metrics, look at the engagement, go into the Discord and look and see what people are really saying. And you'll be pretty disheartened. That's why you hear my voice like that, because it's sad. And I think Cardano has promise, but I don't think that from the top down, they really don't understand how irrelevant Cardano is to the overall market. It's definitely not one of the big three. So this is my Satoshis. Hey, feel free to let me know what you think down in the comment section. We're out.
Take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how.